Hey, what's up guys? Today I'll show you a science fiction psychological horror film, Circle. Spoiler ahead, watch out and take care. After awakening out of nowhere, a woman finds herself placed in a creepy, dark room with 50 people standing next to her. They are all arranged in 2 concentric circles around a black dome, and everyone is designated a small circle that once he tries to leave or touch the others, the alarm warnings will beep out loud. Right at that time, a John Doe, who seems to have some clues about the trick, warns the panicking woman not to move. However, another woman awakens right then and gets so confused by the current situation that she ignores the warning and moves her steps out carelessly, causing her to be killed instantly by a beam from the dome, and her body to be removed to the dark quickly. After her death, lights on the roof turn on. All people in the room are awakened, but soon fall into a great panic. John Doe tries to calm down the panicking people, but only gets terminated instantly by the dead beam, right before he could finish his 2 wordy man shit. Other people are becoming more and more stressed. During the chaos, an Asian guy figures out the rule that the white arrow on the ground, that could be controlled by hand gestures, is meant to choose the person you want to kill next. What's more, each person can only see their own vote, but not others. People then try to test the rule, but only find someone who gets killed next randomly. Seeing that, pregnant woman suspects that it seems like a voting system where only those who get the most votes would be terminated. Therefore, they decide to test that theory on the dead woman. However, another random person gets killed this time. In a panic, a young guy in a stripy shirt concludes that the system kills 1 person every 2 minutes. In case people do not make any vote, the system will automatically select 1 person as a victim to remove. So he suggests voting to eliminate the elderly first, in order to buy more time to figure out an efficient way to escape. Without any choice, most of them agree with that brutal, but simple proposal. And a poor elderly man is shot by the dead beam next. Thereafter, the captives begin to discuss how they end up being there, and think the aliens might abduct them. Eric, the man in a black shirt, recalls that when he was driving on a heavy traffic highway, he found the sky turned dark suddenly, and lost his consciousness very soon, before being taken to this room finally. Shortly after that, with the elderly eliminated one by one, the guy in the strippy shirt proposes to eliminate people according to the age starting from the older people. The guy then targets a 52-year-old cancer survivor aggressively, while many are unwilling to consider her as the elderly, causing the guy to be voted as the next victim instead. The cancer survivor believes that they must have been chosen for some reason, and thus urges the rest to know more about each other for any relations among them. However, a fat lady volunteers to introduce herself first, but ends up getting killed subsequently, for many are just turned dull by her chubby body and flat speech. Her death, however, prevents the rest from any bumptious self-introduction. Soon an elite-looking man begins to label a black man as an illegal immigrant to the country, trying to make him the next victim. But the black man is later voted to stay. Shortly after, tattooed man is eliminated for the next, once he admits to a cop's accusation of domestic violence. After that, another black man challenges the voting system, and claims that the process has become racist, which reveals a racist white policeman, and results in the policeman's death. At the next countdown, a soldier deduces that no one would be eliminated possibly if they have the same votes. Since they could not vote for themselves, they give each vote to the person next to them, resulting in the same votes, shared by the bearded man in a plaid shirt and the pregnant woman. To their shock, however, the bearded man is killed for the next. While the boy Eric explains that he finds the selfish bearded man broke the rule, and voted for the pregnant woman secretly. So he voted back, and killed the bearded man instead. Eric also deduces that only 1 person will probably survive in the end due to this system. Maybe that lucky person would be between the pregnant woman and the little girl. Following his words, the rest then vote for an old lady and the little girl at the same time. But somebody changes mind, and sacrifices the old lady first, while sparing the little girl. Later, after knowing that the kid is not performing well at her study, the rest decide to vote her to die. Surprisingly, a man behind them can't help but burst out laughing at their bad luck, which however, leads to his own death instead. After several rounds of elimination, some begin to criticize its brutality and inhumanity, and suggest sacrificing for others. A baby fat boy stands out and vows to die for the next round. However, a middle-aged man volunteers to be eliminated first. With those 2 minutes saved though, the rest still can't figure a way out. So in the next round, the elite-looking man urges the baby fat boy to fulfill his promise, and the boy dies without breaking his promise. After that, the remaining finally realize that there are no volunteers anymore. So they turn to the soldier, who's in fear and regrets a lot for his sacrifice made in Afghanistan. However, a mother who lost her children in a car accident volunteers to be the next in order to earn the rest more time. But it's far from enough. A noodle-haired guy is chosen next, but intends to switch everybody's attention to his neighboring girl. He claims that the girl is a street girl, seducing the married men randomly on the street. Despite that, the guy fails to change his fate and dies for his lies. The elite-looking man then targets a lesbian-looking woman behind him, trying to raise people's homophobia against that woman, but instead leading to his own death for the next countdown. In the next round, a man and his mistress are selected for their extramarital affair. However, the two decide to die together as they believe in love. Their death reveals another rule to the rest, that those with the same votes would be killed at the same time. With only a few left, people turn back to the pregnant woman and the little girl, trying to kill the one who may have the highest survival rate. The four-eyed guy tries to win some sympathy from others by claiming that he has 7 kids to raise. However, some believe that everyone is equal, and no special privileges should be offered to somebody. At last, the so-called illegal immigrant and the little girl are chosen, but the immigrant decides to sacrifice himself to save the little girl. After that, the four-eyed guy forces the couple to choose the little girl for the next. Despite his instigation, the four-eyed guy and the little girl are cast with the same votes, but the four-eyed guy ends up getting killed at last, because the wife is unwilling to follow her husband at the last minute, and decides to spare the poor little girl. As the remaining are divided into 2 sides, the husband is forced to vote with Eric's side, otherwise they will eliminate his wife first. To save his wife, the husband votes to kill the black man. But later the mustache guy realizes the two don't even know each other's name, they just pretend to be a couple, to increase their chance of survival. The fake husband dies for his trick. In the next countdown, 5 people are chosen randomly at the same time, the rest people rush to vote, resulting in another 4 deaths, with the mustache guy spared only. In despair and overwhelmed by the inhumane game, a priest chooses to end his life and report to his god. While at a deadlock with only 6 people left, Eric makes a deal with the mustache guy, attempting to eliminate the little girl and the fake housewife first. However, a silent old man restrains his voting, causing the fake housewife to be killed the next. Eric believes that the silent man could survive so long to the last stage only because of his long silence. The mustache guy then wishes to vote for the silent man, but Eric tricks to get the pregnant woman's vote for the mustache guy, who dies immediately. After voting unanimously to terminate the silent man for the next round, the remaining 3 reach the critical and final stage. Before voting, Eric swears to God he will definitely fulfill his promise to sacrifice himself, and thus urges them to make their own choice. In tears for Eric's words, and unwilling to kill the pregnant woman and her unborn baby, the little girl decides to die together with Eric. As she is walking out of the circle to kill herself, Eric just stands still and casts his vote on the pregnant woman suddenly, causing the 2 to be eliminated, but making him the one last winner. However, his evil smiles fade away immediately upon noticing the countdown continues. He soon realizes that the unborn baby also counts a vote. Without any hesitation, Eric votes to kill that baby immediately, and makes himself survive the last, and transferred back to the ground, where he's astonished to find the alien spacecraft floating over in the sky, and many others who have presumably survived the humanity experiments. This is Daniel CC Movie Channel. Peace out.